everyone. So I'm going to be doing another kind of meal prep video. Something simple and easy cook kind of meals for you guys. And also this will be also another one pot meal. Now this one, I'm going to call it the poor man's stew. But there's different names for this specific stew actually. So the other names are the Great Depression stew, the poor man's stew, and there's like a couple other ones. But so far those are the only two that I know it by. I do know there's like a couple more names for this kind of, or this particular stew, meal. The reason why they call it the Great Depression or poor man's stew is back when it was the Great Depression, hamburger meat is what they always tried to feed. When they had that little extra penny right there, they were able to grab it. And you get a lot, like this was a lot. I used half of it for spaghetti for a good amount, and it fills you up pretty quick. So the hamburger meat was just something that was easy to do. And back then also, of what I was told, it was easy to go ahead and buy parts of the cow. It was much cheaper, and you get a lot of that hamburger meat from it, and they just stored it away. The other thing is carrots were always cheap back then. Especially this older lady that used to tell me about this. And she said that carrots were always cheap. Carrots were always in a meal, always a snack. It was always something with carrots because it was always cheap. Onions, the same thing. She said back then we used to get big bags of it, 5-10 pound bags of onion and potatoes for only $5 for the whole thing. For a 10-pound bag of potatoes and a 5-pound bag of onions was $5 for a family that they could use it for a family of like 5, 6, 7, 8, depending on what it is. It was always it was always easy and cheap to grab. Those were always in bulks, and it was always easy to grab. Especially, it wasn't these baby carrots. Let me just say that. It was the longer sticked carrots that were also in like 5-pound bags, and it was like $1 or something for that bag. Same with the potatoes, same with the onions. Hamburger meat is where they spent most of their money on, but it was also cheap buying parts of the cow. So, and then they always had salt and pepper. Also, salt and pepper being an item that you could easily grab and get. It was always cheap. So this is considered the reason why it's called a poor man's stew, or they call it the Great Depression soup. It is good. It tastes really good. And you're able to cook it all in one pot. And it feeds a family big enough. Like, depending on how many potatoes you want, depending on how many carrots you want, depending on how much hamburger meat you have. Like this here, hamburger meat, they probably fed their family for about, I think it's like one meal and feeding the family if they had like 10 people eating it. But there was like more potatoes and more carrots. Or probably that's the same amount of carrots. And then the whole onion. So that's what I loved about this soup, especially getting it from this lady who has who has cooked it for her family. And may she rest in peace because she did pass away. That it was something that she always cooked for her family. It was always something that was available for her family, for her children when she needed it, for the grandkids, whenever they had people come over. It was something easy for them to cook, and it was always available. So I love this meal. It's simple, easy, especially that, and then my kids love it as well. So I'm a happy mother about that. But it's also something, when cooking this meal, it makes me feel like, wow, this is what they had ate. And it fed their family, and it still nutritioned them. And it was just something that, knowing they were pinching pennies, this was a meal that they ate and fed each other. Their mother fed their family. And being able to still do it, and getting this whole background, especially on her, she said she always grabbed the potatoes. Potatoes, onions, and carrots were always something that was a meal she had to figure out. And potatoes, she said, was in every meal. The potatoes were always in every meal, so always cherish your potatoes. always cherish your onions, always cherish your carrots, because they were always in every single meal. When they were able to splurge on that extra bit of money, they got that hamburger meat, but it was always in something. So to me, it was a very, I guess you could say, like, an emotional kind of conversation having with her, but it was a great conversation and a great thing to just pass down to, like, anyone. So I hope this does help you with this meal. I'm sorry taking up the whole time, but I'm gonna go ahead, take the skins off these potatoes, chop up some of the onion, and I'm gonna hurry up and put the hamburger meat inside the pot. And my pot, I have my pot right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put salt and pepper. I have pepper and I have salt, sea salt actually. We're trying to hurry up and use the rest of the sea salt so I can use my hemp salt and put it in there and be able to grind it since I don't have a grinder. But yeah, I have two different kind of potatoes. I got your yellows and I got your regular, what are they called? Russian potatoes? I can't remember. And then the yellow potatoes. So let's get started and let's get chopping. Okay, so I have my hamburger meat in here. It's actually a lot. And I already chopped up a little bit of that onion, and I put it in here as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this heat up and cook, and I'm just going to just pretty much try to put it as much as I can into little crumbs. So, cause like some of it is already like still kind of attached to each other. So there's some big pieces in here. Gonna let this cook. And then get the onions all together. But yeah, let that cook. I already put my potatoes in kind of just this size of cubes. So I got that. The carrots, I'm going to go ahead and actually cut them in half. I have that bag. I believe that's going to just be enough. But I do have a little bit of extra baby carrots and do that. But I already did the salt and pepper inside of there. And this is pretty much what you do. And then you just add water to the stew as it cooks. First, I'm going to cook all of this. Add the water, put my potatoes, put my carrots. I didn't have tomato paste, but you can do that as well. If you have a little bit of tomato juice or sauce, go ahead and do that. I'm trying to do this with one hand, so sorry. And yeah, just let this cook. The onion, like I said, has already been in here. But yeah, go ahead and do tomato paste if you have that. If you do not, go ahead and put a little tomato juice or tomato sauce that's in a little can and put that in there as well if you like that. If not, just leave it like this, and let me just say, it tastes really, really good. So yeah, that's all you gotta do. And I did forget to mention one thing. You can put this all in a crock pot. It's 6 hours on low, 4 hours or a little less than 4 hours, like 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours on high. And it cooks up wonderful in a crock pot as well. So you could go ahead and do that as well. So yeah, simple soup, one pot meal. And it's so good, and it's so yummy, and it's so, especially with fall and winter, it's just a soup that is just perfect for this time. So, yep, hope you guys like it. Put the potatoes, there goes the carrots, and then let those cook and stir around, and then you are done with the soup. Super easy, one pot kind of soup, and it's so good.